Hold your breath, okay?
I'm running late again. I'm halfway down the porch steps, coffee in one hand, keys in the other, thinking about nothing but traffic, and still gonna pick up breakfast, because fuck Jan and her 8 a.m. meetings. My earbuds are at max volume because, come on, it's the only way to listen to metal. I'm on total autopilot as I walk to my car, then movement catches my eye. A guy across the street running full sprint, barefoot, shirt torn. He blasts past the hedges like a bullet, eyes wide, mouth moving. I think he's yelling, but I can't hear it. Ah, fuck. The Murdoch's pit got loose again. I look around, but I don't see the dog anywhere. I pause, frown, take one bud out of my ear. That's when I see her. She's running full tilt after him. She stumbles and crashes onto the cement, but is up running again. The front of her is drenched with blood. I take a step forward to see what kind of help they need. Then her head snaps to the side. I stop moving. Her jaws ripped clean off her face. Eyes locked on me. She changes direction and is running towards me. The coffee drops. I run. Metallica still blaring in one ear. I'm halfway down the driveway when someone slams into me from the side. We hit the ground. A man, he looks fucking deranged. His face is a snarl of gnashing teeth. He's on top of me, growling, feral. I push, shove, kick, and he bites. The pain hits like lightning, sharp, hot, and makes my nerves sing. I grab my keys and jam them into his neck. But nothing happens. He doesn't slow. I'm in full-blown panic mode now. Fight or flight go into overdrive. And I manage to buck hard enough that he rolls, the same time I pull my arm away. I feel my skin stretch and snap as it rips away from my bone and stays lodged in his mouth. Adrenaline bolts me up, gasping. It feels like a lifetime passed, but it must have only been seconds. My arm's bleeding. The woman's still coming. I run. I can hear her feet slapping pavement closer. I hit the corner. Everywhere I look, people are running, fighting, biting. A woman crashes through a window. A man's dragging himself by his arms. It's chaos, pure, boiling chaos. Then impact. Her momentum slams me to the ground, and she's on my back now. Fingers in my hair, teeth snapping. I'm bucking and screaming. She's pulling. I can feel her nails dig into my scalp and open the skin. Hot blood trickles out. Then she bites my head. I scream louder and roll. Elbow her. Anything to make it stop. She's holding on tighter and shifts. That's when I feel her teeth clamp on my throat. She bites down. The world fades in pulsing red flashes. All I hear are screams. Then silence.
It's been about 6 months since everything went tits up. Give or take a month, calendars don't really mean much anymore. I'm low on water, but I do have a handful of protein bar left, so 10 points for me. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky today and find a gallon of water, or better yet, toothpaste. My mouth tastes like mildew and old socks. The apocalypse is a nasty, dirty bitch. I'm creeping through what used to be a suburban block. The kind of place that smelled like barbecue once, and now smells like death. I spot movement ahead and stop in my tracks. There's 2 of them. At first I think zombies. I fucking hate zombies. But they're not as fast as they once were, so it should be easy work. I move to the side. I can come up behind and get them both out of the way before they draw more in. Then I hear them talking. Oh, it's people. I move closer. They've cornered someone. A woman. She's standing still while they circle, blades glinting. Okay, so they're crazed, jittery-eyed, feral dog kind of people. I've seen this play before. 2 on 1. What jerks. I always hated when people didn't fight fair. Even when I made my way up to pay-per-view, you'd think your opponent would have some class. Nope. But that was months ago. I don't fight for fun anymore. Now I fight for oxygen. I move in quiet, grab my crowbar from my recently customized fanny pack, complete with a crowbar holster. Total badass. Heart hammering, I take a breath, then sprint. First guy never sees it coming. Crowbar connects with his temple. Crack. He drops like a bag of shit. The second one swings at me, kitchen knife, wild and sloppy. I duck, hit him with a right hook, then a knee, feel the cartilage in his nose pop. He stumbles. And then I freeze, mid-motion. Because the cornered woman, she's not scared. She moves, fast, surgical. One hand grabs the guy's wrist, twists it until bone snaps, knife drops. The other hand? A Glock, I think. I don't know guns, but who cares? 2 shots, clean to the chest. No hesitation. No emotion. The world goes still. She lowers the gun, glances at me like she's checking a grocery list.
Appreciate the assist,
she says, voice calm. No accent, no nerves. I blink, crowbar still in my hand. You looked like you needed help.
Did I?
She has a faint smile on her face. I scrunched mine and said, yes? And I flash a grin. Well, I got the first one, so there. That's when I notice her stance. Feet set, eyes scanning, not a single wasted movement. I'm betting money military or something worse. She wipes the gun on her sleeve, checks the mag.
You alone?
For now, I grin, but I make great company. A pause. Then she smiles.
Morgan Cade.
Rhea Sanchez, former cage fighter and current scavenger of expired tuna cans. Then we hear it. Both our heads turn. A zombie. They don't do the all-out sprints they did in the beginning. It's more of a jerky, quick walk now, like their bones are stiff. But they can still do plenty of damage. It was dragging a leg through the cul-de-sac, which was great because the other arm was missing. I smirk. Guess we got an audience. Morgan doesn't even lift the gun.
Don't want to waste the last of my bullets on that thing.
Makes sense to me. I walk over to it, plant the crowbar right through its face. One hit, one less nightmare. When I turn back, Morgan's already gone through the 2 bodies. Quick, efficient, looting is just like breathing now. She tosses me a canteen and stands up. That's when she gives me a look. Her eyes stop at my fanny pack. I glance down at my modifications. Well, that might be a strong word. I look at the paracord looped from the pack down my leg and around my thigh. Nice and secure, so the crowbar doesn't flop like a sad fish when I walk. Her lips twitch.
That's a good-looking fanny pack you got there. Is that a thigh holster?
It's cool is what it is.
Totally cool. Not weird at all.
She studies me for a second longer.
You move quiet, fast. What's your training?
I grin and do a little shuffle movement. Former UFC champ, Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Plus, I can play a mean game of Uno. She looked at me, nodding her head.
Impressive. Mastery in Uno could take years. As for the rest, yeah, I thought I recognized you.
I grin wider. I can sign your gun if you want. Her mouth twitches, and it's almost a smile. All right, smartass. What are you? An assassin or something? She shrugs.
Call it former intelligence.
I gawked at her. Holy shitballs, you are an assassin.
Not exactly. I was an operator.
That literally means nothing to me. She chuckled.
It means I was sent to do things in the name of safety and freedom.
Oh, okay. So, you're a big-time fancy assassin. Before she could answer, we heard it. We turn. The neighborhood exhales the way it always does. We knew the horde was coming. There's no such thing as one zombie. Even if it looks like it's alone, there are others following. Just a matter of time until they show up. That was the moment. No ceremony, no handshake. Just two killers who decided dying alone was overrated. We left the bodies behind and kept walking.
The world was almost a year into hell, and it stank, literally like rotted corpses. The roads looked like a graveyard, cracked asphalt with grass breaking through, cars with doors hanging open. Originally, I had a pretty nice stockpile, but we were now running low on everything that mattered: bullets, gas, toilet paper. So, first stop was an old army surplus off 17. Half the roof had caved in, but it was better than walking blind into town. Rhea and I swept it room by room, her covering my 6, me scanning for anything that didn't belong. The place was a mess of dust, empty racks, and ghosts, my eyes scanning and mind cataloging. I found a pack of ballistic vests heavy as sin, picked one up and thought about it. Good against bullets, useless against teeth. Rhea was behind me, fiddling with a busted display case.
You thinking armor after this long?
Thinking if there's a way to make something light, but acts like firefighter gear. Bite-proof, just not as heavy. She smirked. I threw the vest at her. We did find a few things worth taking. Fire starter, canteens, and a few boxes of rounds that looked like they'd been hidden behind a display. Then Rhea found a gift from the toilet gods. Paper towels. Next stop, police station. If anyone had real stockpiles, it's them. We just have to hope it wasn't picked clean. The station sat on a hill overlooking the dead town. The front doors were cracked open. We moved slow, gun raised in my hand, and Rhea had her trusty crowbar.
You think this all started in the cities?
Maybe. Doesn't matter anymore, really. Whatever started it, it's everywhere now.
Are you trying to be spooky?
I smile. Say we find out every detail of why and how it started. How will that help us now that we're living in it?
You got a point.
We kept pushing forward. The armory was the goal. We found it halfway down a corridor littered with papers and empty shells. The door was half busted, and Rhea shoved a way through. Inside, jackpot. Candy was everywhere. Ammo, half-empty boxes, but still enough to matter. She let out a low whistle and grinned.
Merry freaking Christmas.
I smiled. Grab what you can. We'll... Then I heard it. A low clatter. Then the slow thunk, thunk, thunk. The scrape of boots. Slow. Heavy. Coming from the hall. The smell hit next. Thick, rancid, like rot wrapped in metal. 3 of them turned the corner like a nightmare patrol. Cops, still wearing their duty gear. Helmets, vests, riot padding, and what was left of their faces behind cracked visors. We opened fire. A stupid mistake, but shooting was like second nature to me. Rounds hit, but the armor ate them. They staggered, but that was it.
Shit,
Rhea said, as one charged. I shoved a shelving unit down between them, but it barely slowed him. The thing hit her like a linebacker, snarling and snapping its teeth from behind the visor. I sidestepped another, slammed my shoulder into a locker to get room. They were fast. Not day one fast, but enough to ruin your life. Then it tried to wrap its arms around me like a hug from hell. I dropped, jammed my knife under his chin guard, and shoved up. The blade slid through soft flesh, right to the brain. Cold, soupy black blood slid down my hand. I looked back, seeing Rhea pinned, a helmet pressed to her throat.
Under the chin,
I yelled. She moved a knee to its chest to leverage space, brought up the gun and fired. She screamed and fired until the splatter inside the helmet dripped, and he stopped moving. I caught movement. The third was scrambling his way over the shelf. His knee was shredded. Looks like the rounds we shot earlier weren't wasted after all. He cleared it, dragging himself closer. This one's visor was gone. I found a baton on the floor and jammed it through his eye socket until bone gave way. Silence. Just the hum of the flickering lights and our ragged breathing. I scanned the room in case I missed anything. It was over. I made my way to Rhea. "You okay?" Her eyes were a little wider. This nutball, fighter, sister, had been spooked.
I'm not scared, you're scared.
I just gave her a look.
Man, these fuckers stink.
Rhea said, shoving the zombie off of her and wiping her face. She got up and leaned against the wall, catching her breath.
Guess armor works both ways.
"Yeah," I said, pointing to a vest one of the corpses had on. "Until we find something better to keep the zombies from chomping on us, these will do, at least for anyone who has a gun out there." She looked at me, still pale but grinning.
You're disturbingly calm after that.
"You get used to it, or you don't and you die." She blinked.
Wow, you should really write fortune cookies.
One can hope. We went back to scavenging. It was the third locker I opened that gave me my baby. I picked up the rifle, sighted the scope, and slung it over my shoulder. We loaded magazines and boxes of bullets into our new and improved backpacks from the surplus store. I spotted a bat behind a display case in what I presumed was the chief's office. Unless a miracle happens one day, there will be no more bullets. I grabbed it, and we left the station to the dead. Outside, the world was quiet again, just the wind and the buzz of distant flies. That's the good thing about keeping out of the inner cities. We put it all in the back seat and drove off toward nowhere. By nightfall, we'd stop wondering what started it. The cause of all this didn't matter anymore. Answers weren't survival, at least not right now. Knowing why wouldn't change a goddamned thing.
It's been raining for 2 days, and the world has that unique earthy ozone smell. We've been holed up in the old refinery for 3 days. Morgan's on lookout, binoculars up, chewing on a piece of rabbit jerky she doesn't like, but I caught it, and that was the deal. I'm checking our gear for the 10th time. Habit. Comfort. In this nomad life, you gotta make sure you always check your stuff. Otherwise, you feel like a real dummy when you look in your pack and realize you'd forgotten your favorite fanny pack. And your survival buddy is pissed that you have to turn back and get it. Because she doesn't understand the joys of feeling like you have a kangaroo pouch. Still dead out there, I ask.
Define dead.
I toss a spent mag into the crate, glance at her. Forget the dead. Be optimistic and lie to me. She lowers the binoculars just enough to smirk.
I was optimistic last week, remember? You said we could make it to the coast before nightfall. I said sure. Then we got chased by a pack of skinless choir boys.
Yeah, good times. I laugh, picturing horde that took us by surprise.
All survivors east of, repeat, East Ridge. Safe zone Delta. Coordinate.
We both freeze. Morgan bolts upright, turning the dial. But the voice cuts out, again. Static devouring it whole. Silence. Then thunder rolls in from somewhere far off, as if Thor himself is on his way. Morgan stares at the radio like it insulted her ancestors. You think it's real? I ask.
Only one way to find out. If it's bait, we deal with it. If it's real, maybe I can finally get a shower.
She says, packing up gear. I raise a brow. Priorities, huh?
Listen, lady, I'm out here doing some solid fighting, and I smell like onions someone rubbed on a corpse.
I lean forward and take a sniff. Whew, can't argue that. We step out into the storm. The kind that feels radioactive even when it's not. The skyline's a jagged mess of gray clouds and lightning veins.
Which way?
She asks. I point toward the horizon. East. She moves my finger to another direction.
That's east.
Of course it is. I was testing you. She shakes her head and we start walking. We're camped out in what used to be a bait shop, half buried under overgrowth, camo net draped across the roof. You wouldn't notice it unless you stepped on it. Which is the point. 4 years. It's been 4 years since the dead grabbed the living by the balls and the apocalypse has finally slowed down. Literally. Morgan's sitting by the window, cleaning her knife with obsessive precision. I'm watching one of the rotters limping through the mud outside. Skin like old wallpaper, eyes like boiled eggs, trying to keep going, even though his feet keep getting sucked up by the mud. I almost feel bad for them, I say. They've worn themselves down. Look at that one. Skin's flapping like a damn curtain. They used to sprint like Olympic athletes. Now they're lucky if they can make it up the curb. She glances up.
You mocking them again?
I mean, look at it. Dude's arm's just hanging by. Snap. Yep, there it goes. I grimace. She snorts and looks out the window again.
Zombies aren't the problem anymore. It's the ones still breathing that scare me.
My eyes leave the shambling dead and look at her. The cannibals.
Oh yeah. They were probably never really human to begin with. The infection just gave them permission to do what the hell was always just under the surface.
She looks back at the pitiful rotted corpse outside. We sit there a while, listening to the rain and the distant moans of the dying world.
Okay, I'll get first watch. We gotta be up early tomorrow.
What? We're not clocking into work, just walking east.
Why doesn't your brain work sometimes?
Hey.
We will have more daylight hours if we get up early.
With that, she turned to look outside and I got to sleep. The guy tries to bite my forearm before I can twist his head. I slam my elbow into his temple once, twice, and he's down. Jesus, I pant. You people ever wash your mouths? I spit blood. Motherfucker had gotten a lucky shot in. Glance around the barn's all shadows and rotting wood. Mildew, what I hope is cow manure, and the iron stink up the place. A couple of feral fucks had been holed up here. 2 men and a woman. You can tell who's been eating who by the stains on their faces. The woman lunges out of the dark, swinging a pitchfork. I sidestep, grab the handle, twist. She doesn't let go. Fine. I let her keep it, along with the shattered wrist that follows. She screams. I kick her knee backward until it folds the wrong way. Stay down, I mutter. There's a sound behind me, heavy, dragging, wet. And there it is, a zombie of the hour, like clockwork. Always one slow-ass bastard late to the party. It lurches in, skin like dirty paper, ribs exposed, eyes leaking goo. It's moving so slow, I almost feel bad wasting energy on it. Almost. I grab the pitchfork from the woman's shaking hands, jam it through his skull. The woman's sobbing now, blood and snot. We just wanted food, she whimpers. I stare at her. The gnawed bones in the corner tell the story. Her scream echoes as I walk out, boots squelching through mud and blood. Outside, Morgan's crouched by the road, looking through the scope of her rifle.
Trouble?
Did you look?
Nope.
She lied. I told you I could handle it. Just a few ferals, I answer. The usual. She nods.
I know you can. Any left?
I shrug. Not enough to matter. We go through the same ritual we always do. Check out the area and strip anything worth taking. You stop thinking of it as stealing pretty quick. Now it's just inventory control. I find a can of peaches and toss it to her. Dinner's on me. She catches it midair.
Yummy. I can't wait for the ring of fire coming from my ass when I pop a squat later.
I grin. First, it's always weird to hear you talk like that. 2, it's not that old. I look at the room, or lack thereof in my pack. Decisions. You know what I miss? A car. Ah, the good old days when we didn't have to carry things like mules. She chuckles, then looks at the way I came from and nodded.
She sounds pissed, assuming she's still breathing for a reason?
I can hear her muffled curses at me. I don't say anything for a minute. Those bones, the ones you spotted through the scope. They were small. None of them are dead, but I made sure none of them can walk either. They should suffer as long as possible before one of the mortally challenged gets a whiff of them. I'm just sorry. I won't be here to see it. We didn't dwell on that too long. The world is a sick, nasty place now, but we will do our part to balance the scales. We pack up, load gear into the duffel, and start east again. Morgan keeps her rifle up. I keep the crowbar resting on my shoulder. I'm pretty comfy with it now. Sure, we got knives, and Morgan has the guns, because my aim sucks, and she says I just waste her bullets. The road stretches ahead like an open wound, right smack in the middle of rural nowhere. It's an odd mix of open fields and scattered houses, like they couldn't decide if this was going to be a farm town or city. I can't decide if the safe zone's real. I hope it is, because all this walking for nothing would suck, I say, kicking a crushed soda can down the road. Morgan doesn't answer right away. She's scanning rooftops, eyes cutting back and forth like she's still in some war nobody told the rest of us about.
I don't know, but I do know one thing. I'm only as strong as my delusions, and that talking chinchilla over there says it's real.
I huff a laugh. You should put that on a t-shirt.
Way ahead of you, I already have a post-apocalyptic merch line. Crowbars, canned peaches, existential dread. Collect all 3.
I smirk. You forgot bad decisions and emotional trauma.
That's the premium bundle.
I shake my head, still smiling. We walk in silence for a while, boots crunching through gravel. A half-eaten carcass lies ahead, picked clean by something or someone. We also spot zombies too far gone to walk, laying in fields, arms outstretched as if to say, "Hey, don't just stare at me, help me up." Morgan slows, crouches, studies tracks.
Couple of them passed through here. Yesterday, maybe. Not the dead, no drag marks. 2 adults, 1 small set.
I sigh. Cannibals.
Maybe, or maybe just people.
She stands, shouldering her rifle. Same thing these days, I mutter. She doesn't argue. That's when I know she agrees. You ever think about what you'd do if we actually found this utopia? Morgan gives a half shrug.
Probably get bored. I'm not built for fences and staying put. I'm sure they'll need scouts, people to go out and scavenge. Maybe find and bring others back with useful skills.
Yeah, you'd last a week, I laugh. 2, tops. She side-eyes me.
I'm pretty good at that. I found you. And it's not like you're going to be a cook. We both know how that turns out. Yeah, I can see it now. You'd start a fight club.
I flash a grin. What the hell are you talking about? I ran to save you from those guys. And because I didn't know you were a ninja at the time, I should get 2 points. It's a technicality. And yes, I would. But you ruined it because the first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about it. She pushed me.
Rhea walks ahead of me, crowbar tight to her leg. I still don't know why she insists on keeping that fanny pack and cord. I think she keeps it around out of spite. She's humming in a world full of corpses and cannibals. She's humming. Technically, she did get one thing right. She came over to help. What she didn't know was that I spotted her the day before. I was curious because she wasn't shrinking into the shadows or letting the anxiety eat her alive. so I followed, but I stayed back because she looked crazy. She was alone and humming the way she does now. Turns out she was crazy, but the good kind. I keep a few paces back, eyes sweeping corners, sight lines, anywhere anyone can hide. Muscle memory, drilled into me long before the world decided to eat itself. She doesn't know it, but there have been times I've saved her ass without her even noticing. A man with a machete creeping up behind her while she was choking out another bastard. A kid, couldn't have been much older than 20, with a rifle, too scared to aim steady. Both gone before she turned her head. Clean, quiet. I don't tell her. She sleeps better thinking she's untouchable. She's good, don't get me wrong. Fast, strong, no hesitation. But fighting in a cage and fighting for your life? Those are two very different things. She just needs a little more training. I shoulder my rifle, scan the horizon again. Sun's burning out, painting everything gold and red. The apocalypse looks damn poetic if you squint through the carnage around it. Night's coming, we should get off the road soon.
Finally, my feet were starting to hurt. I can't say this enough. I would give anything to be able to drive right now. Something with heated seats and music going, ugh, that was the life.
I smile. Yeah, it was. For now, we need shelter before dark. I scan looking for one of the scattered houses or structures that pop up from time to time. I spot a patch of open field ahead, tall grass waving like it's hiding something, or maybe that's just my nerves talking. Then something on the wind catches my ear. I stop walking, close my eyes, listen. Words, soft, scattered. Before I could look in the direction it came from, Rhea catches my eye as if to say, "You hear that?" I nod once. I know it could be bait, but it also could be survivors. Either way, I have to check it out. If they're friendlies, maybe we can stay for the night. We've done that, and it always surprised Rhea that not all friendlies want to band together. Trust is not ever an easy thing, especially now. If they are hostile, then I'd figure that out after assessing. We move. I don't like fields. You can't see your feet. Too easy to step on a crawler and get your ankle chewed off before you even know it's there. Last time I crossed one, I lost half a boot and a lot of trust in grass. We skirt the edge, moving slow. I scan through my scope. Nothing moves. Then, a structure. Small compound. 3 buildings. 1 barn, 1 shack, 1 collapsed house. Fencing around the perimeter. Wire strung with old cans. Alarm system.
We just walking up?
Stay here, I say, sliding the rifle strap tighter. Let me check it out. Rhea frowns.
We should both go.
Negative. You're loud. I'm not.
What? No, I'm not.
You hum when you walk. She opens her mouth, then closes it. Scrunching her face at me, she says,
Fine. But if you get eaten, I'm taking your boots.
I won't. Besides, they wouldn't fit you, Miss Bigfoot. With that, I have to step into the tall grass. Rhea's waiting by the road in a low position. I know she's trying not to fidget. I hold up a hand. Silent signal. Wait. If they're cannibals, I've got something special for them. A little surprise I've been saving. Call it my version of a welcome basket. If not, maybe we can do a trade, or maybe see if they are wanting to join us. I slow as I get closer. I duck low. I slide the scope to my eye and dial focus until the world snaps sharp. Movement in the doorway. Man pushing the barn wide. Not careful. Distracted, laughing. Talking to someone else inside. He looks ordinary for the end of the world. Beard, grease-black hair, too bright jacket. He leans back, squints into the light, calls a name. The sound floats to me, warm human noise. For a second, my chest unclenches. Maybe survivors, maybe a meal, maybe a mistake. Inside there's a table, 7 people, 2 women, 5 men. They're laughing, real laughter, passing bowls, clinking tin cups. It's a picture from before, friends at dinner, someone telling a joke too loud, normalcy. My finger tightens on the trigger, then relaxes. Maybe it's a trade camp. These are very few and far between, and they like to keep to themselves. Maybe these are tired people trying to feel what it means to be human. I'm deciding if I should go introduce myself or go back and get Rhea. It only takes me a second to know Rhea would want to come. Hell, maybe they're willing to trade a plate for something. The man is walking towards the other door when I almost take my eye from the scope. Then it opens. A shadow moves, and I freeze. A long, wrong shape swinging from a rope. It's a man suspended by his feet, which point to the rafters. His head is gone, and he's been cut in 2, like 2 slabs of beef hanging side by side. He's been completely butchered, like someone cleaved roast-sized chunks and hung what's left to dry. The smell hits me like a fist. Iron, spice, and something that used to be a person. There's a pot on a wood-burning stove. My stomach does that flip thing, slamming against my spine. I swallow down the bile. I don't have the luxury of throwing up. The table keeps laughing. A man with a beard wipes his hands on his pants and walks toward the stove. The pot bubbles over, thick and dark. He stirs with a wooden paddle like he's making soup. The 2 women at the table slap each other's backs, voices brimming with the kind of comfort that should never belong to monsters, cannibals, no mistaken identity, and there will be no remorse for what I'm about to do. Shit, I say low into the radio clipped to my vest. One thin syllable that means go loud or go home.
You good?
Stay down, stay shielded, I say, and get ready. I slip back out of sight. Cannibals are not right in the head for obvious reasons, but most of them have one thing in common. They have rituals. They will come out and tend fires, call to others. If we wait too long, they'll disperse, and we'll have to hunt them like ghosts. I pull a grenade off my belt, one of a few baseball frags I've been hoarding. With both doors open, the barn is a funnel. I'm too far to put it dead center, but I'm betting I can get it close to the doorway. I count fence posts, watch the wind ruffle the netting, measure the arc with my shoulder, and figure the math in a way that keeps people who matter alive and monsters who eat people dead. A baseball frag from this distance has a lethal bite in the first few meters. That's 1, maybe 2 guys if they're caught out in the open, and a nasty wounding spread beyond that for up to 12 meters. That's the plan. A surgical ugliness that cripples the group's center of gravity and shocks the rest immobile. I step, plant my boot, and lob it. True to form, it lands a handful of feet short of the front doors. The bench and man nearest the door blows outward in a spray of red mist and splinters. The one who opened the doors was blown off his feet and up in the air like a rag doll. Others catch shrapnel through arms and stomachs, fall, cry, grab at themselves. Smoke and copper fill the rafters. When the dust clears, not all are dead. The smell of frying blood explodes into the air. One of the men, a big one with the jacket, reels, blood from the woman beside him painting his mouth like war paint. Then I see him scrambling for a knife. I stand and sprint, Rhea's voice behind me, primal and delighted.
Holy fuck nuts!
She yells, and I know she already has her crowbar in her hand ready to fight. I move through the chaos with practiced choreography. I put the suppressor to the temple of a crawling man who originally opened the doors and pull the trigger before he can rise. A quick barrel smack to another trying to pick up his knife, elbow into a throat to shut a scream. Fast and precise. Rhea is a cyclone behind me. Elbows, knees, a brutal uppercut that splinters ribs, a sweep that turns a man's spine into a snare drum. The smoke is clearing. I mark them as we move. The bearded cook, blown back by the blast, still by the overturned pot. His eyes are wide. I give him a rail of lead between the ribs. The lumberjack, teeth bared, he lunges with a cleaver. Rhea meets him mid-charge, a hook to the jaw, then a crowbar to the temple that collapses his skull through his orbital bone. The floor shakes when he drops. The cleaver skitters away. She slams a boot into Lumberjack's man's mouth until it stops making the wrong sounds. Woman with braids rises 10 feet from the bench she had been sitting at before I blew up her world. She spots me and screams with rage. Rhea snaps her neck with a kind of motion that sounds like a wet towel being whipped out. Mr. Average. He runs. I shoot up his legs. He stumbles and slams into a tub that was under the hanging body, splashing viscous and dark. I put one in the back of his head for good measure. Second woman reaches for a child-sized bowl, hands shaking. Rhea steps over a wrecked bench and stabs the crowbar through her neck, so clean the woman doesn't have time to cry. These were not quiet kills. They're messy and immediate, because that's the point. Terror for them, closure for us, and hopefully some sort of justice for the ghosts of the people they've slaughtered. When the last one stops moving, the barn is a ruin of chairs, bodies, and miraculously, there are 2 cups perfectly untouched and still steaming. Mosquitoes start circling the light. Rhea leans on her crowbar, chest heaving, blood across her forehead and in her hair. She looks at me then.
You look nuts,
she said, grinning like a child. Me? You're the one who has blood clot face, I say. She laughs.
Oh man, you're gross.
We both smile. Well, no time like the present. I quickly sweep the other 2 buildings just in case. Nothing. By the time I'm back, she's already gone through most pockets. We snatch up a couple of knives and pull a machete free of the muck. Then we leave it all behind. The carnage, the violence, and the terrible knowledge that people can become worse than the dead. We walk out and melt into the night.
Diesel fumes and wet dirt filled my nostrils, but in the back of it, that sour tang of rot that never quite goes away. I crouch behind an overturned tractor, rifle ready, eyes on the tree line. My name's Corporal David Holt, Marines, or what's left of one. Been about 4 years since the Corps stopped existing, but habits don't die. Neither does the guilt. My camp's 10 miles west, 20 souls, good people, mostly farmers. Well, people turned farmers. We even have a couple of engineers. Technically 1 engineer and 1 science teacher, but he's learning. We grow, we trade. Or, we did. The first trade seemed fine. Grain for meat, well, jerky. Smoked and salted. Said it was venison. It was the second trade that made me hesitate. More meat, no bones, no hide. Something about it didn't sit right. I watched these 2 men, as we traded. I couldn't say what it was, maybe something in their eyes or the way they laughed. Whatever it was, the seed of doubt was planted. In the back of my head I knew, but I also didn't want to seem like a paranoid fuck. That night when I got back to camp, I told everyone I was attacked and the meat was taken. What really happened was, after we left our separate ways from the trading post, I ended up doubling back and following them. It wasn't deer. Wasn't pig either. It was people. They called it the meat farm. How did I know that? Because that's what the big guy said to a nervous-looking man as they walked up the dirt road to the farm. The big guy clapped his hand on the other man's shoulder as they walked, reached into his pocket, and a second later a knife was shoved into the man's eye to the hilt. I watched as the man's body convulsed, and a second later he was gone. I didn't intervene. Couldn't. It was too late for the poor bastard, and I didn't know how many people they had here. Then there was my people. I couldn't risk getting them slaughtered if I failed to kill everyone. I watched as a few others came out to help move the body. I waited another 10 minutes after that to make sure I could slip away clean. I ran at a crouch with the tractor as my cover until I was out of sight. I went back, smiled, told my camp since the weather's turning we should probably stop trading for a bit. That we needed to prepare to make sure we have enough. Been scouting for a new spot ever since. If I can find a place far enough, safe enough, maybe we'd have a real chance at not just surviving, but thriving. But first, we had to mobilize. I'd been on the back roads, in an old industrial road looking for a vehicle that might still turn over. Maybe one with enough gas left in the tank to get my people the hell away from the fields. That's when I saw them. Two silhouettes moving through the wreckage, one like a cat, fluid and deliberate. The other rolling her shoulders and moving like a tank through the yard. I went low behind a half-collapsed fence line, hand instinctively going to my rifle. I made myself loosen my grip and instead went for a metal pipe. I watched, waited. The cat scanned the horizon, touching all the high and low points. No wasted effort. Military, I muttered. I didn't know the flavor, but I could tell as she rotated from point to point with the occasional look behind her. The tank was chewing on something. Jerky, maybe. Then, as if on cue, a corpse slumped out from behind a truck 10 yards away. Then came the groans. 3 more of the rotters, slow, wet, pitiful things, staggered out of a dead cornfield. Skin hanging like rags, jaws working, but no real sound. The cat whipped around. She slid her rifle off her shoulder but didn't fire. Instead, she reached back over her shoulder and pulled out a bat wrapped in torn rubber for grip. I stayed still, watching. I wanted to see how they moved. The tank stepped up first. A full-body swing that sent one's jaw spinning into the mud. Another lurches. She sidesteps, buries a crowbar in its temple, and drags it down until the skull pops open like a party favor. The cat was surgical. One clean arc of the bat, right through the crown. Skull caves. She spins, smashes another in the chest. As it drops, she lifts her leg, then heel down, smashes the top of its skull. No wasted movement, no panic, just efficiency. She walked back to her rifle and slung it over her shoulder. The tank skipped over as if just another day for a good walk. I exhaled slow. Jesus, I muttered. Then I saw the gore spatter on the cat's sleeve. She snapped her arm out, flinging the sludge off. Disgusted.
Zombies are the worst. Damn, this stinks.
Tank took a couple of steps back and groaned.
What the? I just cleaned my boots. Now you owe me 2 pairs.
2?
Yes, 2. Remember the one you peed in when I, accidentally by the way, set off your grenade?
The cat chuckled. I couldn't help it. A laugh snuck out. Not loud, but loud enough. Their heads snapped toward me. Rifle barrel came out of thin air and was pointed at my face. Fuck. For a long second, none of us moved. Then I exhaled, stood slow. Friendly, I said. Marine. Just looking for parts. The tank, a fighter named Rhea, I'd learn later, cocked a brow and pointed her crowbar at me.
Define friendly.
The 3 of us sat under a sagging rusted awning, tarp tied to one side, tiny fire, nothing fancy. The rain pinged off the tin roof. You guys are good. Finally, Rhea grinned.
We practice, and not just on zombies. Morgan makes me do these drills. Whew, she's brutal, but I hold my own.
Morgan smiled, shaking her head, but watched me with that move wrong and I'll end you look. Then she said,
She's got a lot of energy. Training helps burn it. She may look like a weirdo in her fanny pack, but she's a solid fighter. Actually, you are looking at a bona fide former UFC fighter.
Champ, I won the belt.
Rhea made a face.
Champ.
With that, Rhea the tank wiggled her eyebrows at me. Impressive. She pumped her fist in the air like she won 10 points. I couldn't help it, I grinned. What an odd set of women.
What were you scouting for out here?
Morgan asked, sounding skeptical even before I opened my mouth. My camp? Looking for transport? Well, something salvageable. We've got to move. I have hard-working people, good people, who are just trying to survive. There's another camp not too far from here. They're the not good people type. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, stay clear of the farm fields. They butcher people there. I don't know how many there are, or how many locations. So to be safe, just don't go down the road with the sign that says Avenue 3E. Something shifted in Morgan's eyes.
Farm fields? As in an actual farm?
Yeah. Maybe 3 days back, I saw them kill a man without hesitation. Not because they were fighting about food or territory like I've seen before. 1 second they were just walking, and the next the guy shoves a hunting knife through the other man's eye. I couldn't risk showing myself. There was nothing I could do. At the very least, they're psycho, and at worst, cannibals. They shared a silent look, the kind only forged by time and too many close calls. Finally, Morgan spoke.
I think we just missed you. 2 days ago, on the West Ridge and same avenue, we came across a barn. Big guy, beard. Second thought, scratch that, sounds like the latest fashion these days. There were 5 men, and a couple women?
I only counted 3, but I didn't stick around to find out. I moved, knowing I needed to get my ass to camp and a plan together. She leaned in.
Yeah, I'm certain we are talking the same freak show. There were 3 structures on the compound, main one being the barn. They were cannibalistic bastards, for sure. It's all right. They're gone now, so they won't be hurting anyone anymore.
I just blinked. Gone?
Miss Fancy Pants threw a grenade.
Holy shit. You have frags? She just smiled. The fire we built sputtered low, the rain hissing against the embers. Morgan asked if I heard about a safe zone supposed to be east somewhere. No, but to be honest, it doesn't mean someone else didn't. I've lost the will to seek out a safe zone a long time ago. Instead, I'm trying to make my own. We were all silent for a bit after that, just watching the dying fire and rain, when I made up my mind. My camp's less than 9 clicks from here, mostly farmers and families. But we have some specialty fields too. Everyone pulls their own weight for the most part. We thought we were trading resources for venison. Turns out meat was people. I didn't have the heart to tell them. The first trade, everyone had some. Even the children. That's when my inner alarm started ringing. I thought the end of the world finally fried my brain. But it was when I met with them for the second time that I found out who our trading partners really were. The camp thinks I was ambushed, and our meat was taken. My camp's defenseless when I'm not there. I've tried to train people up. They have some of the basics, but any real skill takes time. They need to move. That's why I was here today. I was car shopping. We think we found out a way to make fuel, and I was supposed to test that theory. I don't know about you guys, but most tanks we opened are empty. If you both come with me just for the relocation and help us set up, I'll make sure you're stocked. Whatever I've got, I will share with you. Morgan sipped from the canteen.
And just like that, you trust us?
It's real comforting when you say it like that. She rolled her eyes. I looked at the fire. No, but I'm desperate and a realist. Sooner or later, someone will come to destroy the little piece we have left. I can't defend them alone. And I'm hoping like hell you two are just the people we need. She didn't hesitate.
You have a deal, Marine. We got time. In the end, we'll want a car and fuel to get us east. Until then, we'll help move your people.
As the fire popped and hissed, the 3 of us made plans. I told them about harvesting corn for fuel. Somewhere in the distance, a slow moan echoed across the fields. The yard stretched out in front of us like a graveyard for machines. Hundreds of husks lined up in rust. Sunlight cut through broken windshields and lit up the dust like ghosts. Morgan scanned the horizon, rifle slung loose. Rhea had a crowbar hooked on a fanny pack of all things, but I wasn't about to make fun of her. I was just hoping the engineers weren't wrong.
They said this'll burn?
Morgan asked, nodding at the fuel can I carried. They said it should. It's corn mash, distilled down through copper pipes, cooled through a radiator we ripped out of a tractor. Lena, one of the engineers, calls it hillbilly ethanol. Says, if it doesn't kill us, it'll run an engine. Rhea snorted.
Love that confidence.
It's chemistry, I said, setting the can down by a faded pickup. Ferment corn into alcohol, distill the vapor, collect the ethanol. Mix it with a little leftover gas to help the ignition. Old carb engines like this one don't need to be picky. Morgan crouched to inspect the truck.
So, redneck moonshine for engines.
Pretty much. Except this won't get you drunk. Just dead if you light it wrong. Rhea leaned over the hood.
Oh, look, you're just as optimistic as she is. Must be a military thing.
Only when I'm holding explosives, I said, and twisted the cap off the tank. We siphoned in a few liters, just enough for a test. The truck was an old Chevy, dented, ugly, but the kind of ugly that usually outlives the pretty ones. I slid behind the wheel and glanced at them through the cracked windshield. Moment of truth. Morgan raised an eyebrow.
You sure it won't blow up?
Nope, I said honestly, and turned the key just as I saw them step back.
It's alive! It's alive!
Rhea whooped. Morgan grinned despite herself.
Guess your moonshine's got bite.
I revved the engine once, the vibration shivering through the chassis, like it hadn't been touched in years because it hadn't. She runs, and that's all we need. We loaded up the canister. The tires were bad. I ended up pulling spares from others. It was both the ugliest and prettiest piece of shit I'd ever seen. After loading up, we took off down the cracked highway, slow enough not to drink every drop we'd brought. The sound of the engine was steady, comforting. After months of silence and footsteps, the rumble was proof of life. The drive back to camp was quiet. Morgan watched the tree line. Rhea hummed under her breath, and I thought about the way things might start again. If we could just keep this spark alive long enough to matter. Then it came into view. Camp. From the outside it looked run down, and it was. But once you stepped in, it was like stepping back in time, where zombies and cannibals were just stories. When we pulled in, people came out like we'd brought the sun back. The few kids we had ran. Adults clapped each other on the shoulders, and for the first time in months I didn't feel like I was failing them. Morgan took it all in. Before we got out of the truck, she said,
You've done it, Holt. Created a bubble of normalcy in the middle of hell.
Doesn't feel like much most days.
That's because you're too close to it. But look at them. They laugh here. They eat. They don't look scared or lost. That's rare now.
Something in me let go. A knot I didn't realize I'd been carrying since the first body dropped. I just nodded. We climbed out of the truck, boots sinking into the dirt. The camp stretched out around us, a scatter of small houses and mobile homes surrounded by fields. Smoke drifted from a burn barrel near the center, the smell of wood, oil, and something cooking clinging to the air. The people moved closer, cautious at first when they saw the women with me, then bolder when I nodded. I was about to say something when Morgan stepped up.
I know it's a bit strange and scary meeting new people. I'm Morgan. This is Rhea. We came from the southwestern ridge after the collapse and have been working our way east.
She waited, eyes sweeping the crowd.
We're here to help, not to disrupt what you all have built. I'm sure you are wanting to know what the catch is. And there is one. We can help each other. We have agreed to offer our services in trade of a working vehicle. We've got training, our own gear, and enough experience to help make you stronger. But that only works if we've got each other's backs.
A murmur rippled through the camp. I watched Morgan's calm confidence make sense in the people's faces. Some still suspicious, but most knew we needed more help. To be honest, I'm not much of a people person. I like being hands-on, and then when the action is over, I like to be able to go to my corner of the world. Listening to her captivate people's attention made me realize I was relieved that I wasn't the one talking. Finishing up. Morgan smiled, small, but real. I followed her lead. So, Let's show these newcomers a little kindness. In return, they will help step up training for those who want it. Because of their background, they will also help me scout. The world took enough from us already. Let's take some of that back. Rhea hopped down from the truck bed, stretching.
And if anyone's got coffee, I'll wash her clothes for a week.
Laughter broke the tension, brief but golden. The kind that reminded everyone we were still human.
The farm still smelled of smoke when I arrived. The air was thick with burnt hair, blood, and that sour, sweet stink of cooked meat. 7 of my men, gone. Torn apart, shredded. It was almost a work of art. I stood in the middle of it all, boots sinking into blackened mud and ash, and I'll admit it, part of me was impressed. Whoever hit this place knew what the hell they were doing. Precision, anger. It wasn't some savage who laid waste here. Every kill was too neat. Sure, they got the hell beat out of them. But there was no skinning, no chunks bitten out, no pieces flayed down to the bone. Military hand, no doubt about it. Still, I was pissed. These idiots were supposed to keep the meat flowing. Fresh stock from the surrounding camps, young and clean to feed my growing army. Now they were just calories for that same army. Bag everything, I told Cree, my right hand. He didn't ask what I meant. He knew. My men started dragging the corpses into the trailer. Nothing goes to waste. Not in my kingdom. I watched as Cree ordered the trailer doors open. The meat we captured on our way here screamed. They'd get processed too. I watched the piles of bodies grow, the faces with wide eyes, and thought about the logistics. More mouths to feed. Fewer hunters now. Means we'll be knocking door to door on our way back to the compound. Round up as many meat sacks as we can get. I was deep in thought when a soldier shoved a man to the ground in front of me. What's this?
Sir, he was hiding in the grass. It said he had some intel.
I looked at the man. Greasy, matted hair, eyes darting around like a caged animal. Speak.
I saw the whole thing.
I frowned as he licked his cracked lips. I don't have time for this shit.
Pete, please, I was in the shitter. I heard an explosion. That's when I looked up and saw a couple of ladies running into the barn. And before I knew it, everyone was dead.
Are you saying a couple of women mowed down 7 of my soldiers?
Well, yeah.
What direction did they go? The man pointed. I nodded. Then, in one swift move, I lifted the machete I always have in my hand and sliced down on his outstretched arm, severing it from his body. The man's roaring scream was an immediate thing. The soldier stepped back. I speared him with a look. Let this be a lesson, and let it be known. Anyone in my outfit who is weak like this piece of shit here will pay the price. I boomed. I turned back to the man whose scream was winding down like a broken siren. I grabbed a fistful of his greasy hair and stared into his eyes as I pressed the tip of the machete into his Adam's apple. Adding more pressure, I heard the pop of skin open when the blade made its way through his neck. Blood bubbled out of his mouth. His eyes were blown wide. I let him stay like that just for a moment. Then I tightened my grip and yanked hard to the right. The sound of ripping meat filling the air as I freed my machete from the side of his throat. I let him fall back as he convulsed, my eyes never leaving his. Cree, throw him in with the others. Let's wrap it up here. Sounds like we may have a destination to this little road trip after all. The hunt was on.
Everyone was preparing for dinner when I saw June, a wiry 16-year-old girl with sharp eyes, make her way to Rhea. She'd been an orphan when the world ended and the first I found.
You're the champ, aren't you? I used to watch your fights on YouTube. You were like lightning. Back at the orphanage, we used to bet snacks on who'd win.
Hope you didn't lose too many.
I didn't. I always bet on you.
Rhea gave her a look that was half amusement, half pride.
Smart kid?
Can you teach me, please? I watched you because I was one of the smallest and wanted to learn how to take care of myself. Please?
Rhea looked at me and I shrugged. I mean, that's what part of the plan was anyway. They sat together talking about past fights as the camp came alive. Dinner boiling, laughter threading through the wind, small pockets of peace. I caught Morgan watching the scene, quiet satisfaction in her eyes. Later that night, after everyone had settled, I met with Morgan and the engineers. We spread a map across a table. The truck works, I said, but it won't carry everyone. We need something bigger. Morgan gave me a questioning look and cut her eyes to the two others. They know why we're leaving, the real reason. Everyone else just knows other non-friendlies are around looking to take over camps, and we'd rather be safe than sorry. Lena nodded, then went right in.
At dinner you mentioned spotting a bus and rig. If they work, we'll need more ethanol. A lot more.
How much are we talking?
Approximately 200 gallons to move the whole camp and gear,
Mario said.
Maybe less if we strip weight. Being honest, I wouldn't go less. That will get us roughly 1,000 miles to get us the hell away from cannibals. It sounds like a lot, and it is, but also isn't.
That would be 500 per vehicle, and inevitably we'll make some wrong turns. Plus theirs total body weight will be adding. Unless this has already been done, we need to scout ahead while people rest. Doing it this way will take longer, but it keeps us from wasting fuel.
I rubbed my chin. We've got the corn and the setup. Just need time. Do we have enough now to see if these options even start up? I looked at Lena.
Yes, the yard isn't that far. It won't be full tanks, but enough to get them back here.
All right. Then we go back tomorrow. Holt and I will bring back the bus. Maybe the rig, if it's in good shape.
Rhea was sitting in a chair looking at a bookshelf when she spoke up for the first time.
I'll stay. Someone's got to keep a lookout, and plus it's one less worry for you guys. We need you focused on the plan, and not if a few stragglers happen to come by.
Morgan met her eyes, nodded. I felt that same small spark again, the thing that feels dangerously close to hope. All right, I said. We move at daybreak. Stepping outside for a breather, I looked around at the camp, people enjoying each other's company. The fire popped, embers rising into the night. For once, the rain didn't come. The wind smelled like wet earth and wood smoke, and maybe, just maybe, a future.
Two days later, we found the camp. Wide open pasture, fences, smoke from cook fires, laughter. They'd built something normal, almost wholesome. That's what gave them away. No one laughs anymore unless they're batshit or stupid. I stood on the ridge, watching through binoculars. Someone was drilling a group to the north side of their camp, and it clicked. The one responsible for my loss was here. The Marine. Zone 9 reported back about possible trade with a Marine. Now they're all dead. So, looks like the report checks out. I'm not surprised. The outer zones are dotted with pawns who cosplay as soldiers. I let them. Keeps them easy to steer. Truth is, they're cannon fodder. I don't know where the two women come into play. No idea if that was just some crazed pawn's hallucination or they are with the Marine. Hell, doesn't matter. I've got women in my unit who are nastier than half the men. Maybe he trained them to watch his six. I lowered the binoculars. We're moving in. My people fanned out, silent, hungry, disciplined. Behind them, 2 diesels hauling trailers, 3 trucks, and my armored G-Ride, enough to carry 33 of my best soldiers and then some. They never stood a chance. We hit them from 3 sides. The screams started early. Some died fast, lucky bastards. The rest rounded up, thrown down, cuffed, crying. They'd be processed in the morning. The ones we kept alive would work before they were butchered, Haul, dig, cook, meet with jobs. Then came the surprise. A girl came barreling through like a damn cave demon. Dropped 4 of my trained men before they even realized she was trouble. In the end, even surrounded, she fought like hell. Had to take a bat to the stomach to slow her down. I walked over, while 2 of my guys had her arms locked and held her pinned between them. Not bad. Not bad at all. I could use skill like that, I said. She grinned like a feral thing.
If you like that, watch this.
She faked a lunge. They tightened their grip. And she used their pull to lift herself and roundhouse kicked me in the fucking face. I'll admit it. I was more shocked she was that fast than anything else. I drove my boot into her gut and cracked her jaw with a right hook hard enough to drop her limp. Thought I killed her for a second. Nope. Just lights out. Good. I can work with that. Cree, strap her down. I've got plans for her. By nightfall, the camp was ours. I walked through the wreckage. Bodies everywhere, tents gutted, flames chewing through the last bits of their pretend paradise. My men feasted on whatever they could hold down. Cree jogged up, breath huffing out like smoke.
Boss, the Marine isn't here.
I scanned the fields. A Marine wouldn't leave his post for long. He's on a mission, but he'll be back. Good. I crouched by a burned-out tent and picked up a child's doll, half melted, soaked in blood. I grabbed the doll and held out my hand. Someone put a blade in it. Taking it, I dug the knife through the doll's head and impaled it to the tent's wooden post. Checkmate. I smiled. You think you're building something out here? I said to the cold, dead air. I'm building too, and mine is about to eat yours. Cree waited.
Orders?
I stood, brushed ash off my coat, looked at the horizon. Pack the meat. We move at dawn.
And there you have it. That, my friends, is part 1 of this 2-part nightmare. I know this one took a minute. I've gotten a lot of comments asking for longer, deeper, blood-on-the-wall stories, so why not take a crack at it with a zombie versus cannibal showdown? So if you stuck with me through this whole ride, cheers to you for being a badass. I hope you liked part 1, because part 2? Yeah, it's gonna get a little crazy. Make sure you hit subscribe and keep your notifications on so you don't miss when the next piece drops. Trust me, you'll want to be here for that one. Well, until next time.